They made a bargain with the devil. They decided to get rid of the American working person's good job with a good pension and sacrifice it so we could get cheap goods.
Jim Cramer joins CNN with a stark warning. America is facing its toughest time in decades. Trump's plan? Completely off course. Cramer gets so fired up, he practically loses it, shouting on air. But what lingers after the chaos? Deep uncertainty.
What bothered me, Aaron, was that they really did, over and over again, the president said, listen, it's going to be reciprocal. So you do it, we do it. And that was going to be so good. And I really believed in it. And I feel like a sucker tonight. And that was a shame because there was such a great opportunity to course correct and make it so all these people who have taken advantage of our country repeatedly and wiped out all the jobs in small towns, wiped out my father's job. This is one of the reasons why I've always felt like this. It's ridiculous how badly we've been taken advantage of. And I thought they were going to do something. And what did they do? They cratered the damn stock market and gave us nothing.
A lot of people hate it when politicians gamble with other people's money. Now you've got to watch because someone interfering with the system again. Both in America and right here in Germany. The difference: Trump wants to bring American jobs back home and make sure taxpayer actually gets something for the money. Here, where I'm from, it's exact the opposite. We pay effective tax rates of 72% on our income, 55% of that directly from our wages. And still, politicians can't get enough. They're even hiking property taxes now. With Trump, I see a move I'd actually be willing to trade for. Now listen closely to Jim Cramer. He doesn't think Trump's idea is fundamentally wrong, which is rare for a CNN guest. But the hosts, they are trying so hard to paint Trump as a villain. And they fail. Jim Cramer has his own take. And we are about to hear it.
Well, I just want to emphasize again, I think it's so important to emphasize where you're coming from. Because there are some who will come out and say, well, free trade. Larry Kudlow, your old friend, right?
I know, and we always had it was a very flashpoint with me and Larry.
Right, was about free trade, and they'll make the economic argument for it, and they'll make, right, that you're not actually coming from that. You would have been open. You're not ideologically opposed to the concept of what they were trying to do.
Not at all.
But they didn't do it.
They made a bargain with the devil. They decided to get rid of the American working person's good job with a good pension and sacrifice it so we could get cheap goods. And they never thought for a minute, the Republicans or Democrats, what would happen to those towns and those people, and they were left behind. And I always felt that was horrendous. A president comes along that's going to do something about it, and this is what he does?
Ever noticed this? Lately, I've seen the same pattern everywhere. Fox News paints Democrats as the enemy, CNN and others labels Republicans and Trump as civilians. But here, no clear enemy to be found. Instead, Jim Cramer highlights something that often gets lost in this fierce cultures war. The long-term economic mistakes made by complacent politicians over many years. As an outsider, I can't say for sure, but my experience with German politics tells me this. Many politicians act short-term and selfishly, trying to impress voters or set themselves up for the next campaign. A pretty bitter legacy, right? So when someone says Trump is solely to blame, it just doesn't ring true to me. Now, here's a theory that won't sit well with everyone. Trump is in his second and final term. He is 79 years old and doesn't need to worry about his career anymore. This is his last big chance. That could mean one of two things. Either he will wreck everything or he will boldly act for the country's good, regardless of himself. And he already shown in the past that he can handle economic disasters. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment. And now the moment gets really emotional. The host tries to link Trump's current administration to the worst disaster of the past. But Jim Cramer fights back hard.
Part of the reason, and you and I are friends for a long, long time, but many people know our relationship for this one moment. Not this moment, but a moment.
You know it for decades of my so fortunate to be friends with you and your family.
There was this moment, and if anyone hasn't seen it, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it because we're in a moment right now. I don't know if you heard Peter Tuchman describe it on the floor today. That it was a feeling like in COVID, of just feeling a darkness and a fear and on that floor that people hadn't felt. And it was a horrible feeling. It makes you feel sick. And there was another moment, he mentioned COVID, there was one other moment. And that moment was that horrible crash when nobody thought they could even get money out of an ATM.
Right. No, it was us.
And you said it like it was at that time. I want to play the moment.
He has no idea
Cramer.
I have talked to the heads of almost every single one of these firms in the last 72 hours, and he has no idea what it's like out there. None! And Bill Poole has no idea what it's like out there. My people have been in this game for 25 years, and they are losing their jobs, and these firms are going to go out of business, and he's nuts. They're nuts. They know nothing.
Kramer.
I have not seen it like this
I
since I went
imagine-
5 bid for 500,000 shares of Citigroup when I got hit in 1990. This is a different kind of market, and the Fed is asleep.
Nobody knows exactly what the future holds, but I will be diving deep into what German economists are saying, because Trump's strategy has triggered a real earthquake over here. If tariffs and other measures stick around, Germany alone could face triple-digit billion losses every year. Want the full breakdown? Drop in the comment below and I will bring you the numbers. And if you want to see another wild moment where the media completely lost the plot, do yourself a favor and check out the next video. Thanks for watching, see you there.